Are you?
I mean, I'm not hot, but.
Okay. A bunch of us are cold. Do you mind comfortably? Thank you. Well, if someone's hot, please, then we can put it back on, but.
Yeah, I know.
I'm getting cold. I'm gonna start wearing shoes.
Hello, sir.
I have no idea.
It's gonna stop doing samples.
Oh, yes, yes.
These are here too.
Okay, so I have to turn those, I have to turn more.
You do
Okay, that's what really goes. 25, correct. Like total in there. Gotcha, okay. Okay, just when you think you're done, you're not. Oh, wait, I'll dig up more. No, that's all I got. They just keep slipping. It was a good day. It was a hot day. It was a hot day, but it got
It was the
cold.
last hot day of the year, basically.
But it got cold at night.
Yeah, I have to wear my jacket.
I had to have my husband bring me a
I had
fleece.
to go home and change my jeans and sweat, basically.
Yeah, listen, I don't wanna hear anything about, you didn't even wear the dark green t-shirt, so you got. Oh, wait a minute, wait 1 minute. What happened with the green t-shirt? I know, but, okay, I win. All right. Family fun day horror stories.
T-shirt's gonna be hot.
It was green,
It doesn't matter.
lime green. I really think I was gonna wear that.
No, I'm saying that's why hers got.
Oh, mine, oh yeah, mine was.
I think that's why you're.
Cut it all
So,
off,
yeah, I
man.
just noticed.
Thanks for the heads up.
No problem.
Mine went to a good
Would you
cause.
lead us in this pledge when we get to it in about a minute? Thanks.
Do we, is there an agenda, more agendas?
Yes, on the.
Podium?
No, we're just winging it tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think?
Swing it?
Want to buy some stuff?
Anybody else need an agenda?
No, all set on it.
No. What are we going for? Let's figure out a date next week, that's gonna be nice.
You got the heater too, though, right?
Huh?
You got the heater in the pool, right?
Oh, you bet.
74 on this Thursday, 76 Monday, 75 Tuesday, 76 Wednesday.
We can do Saturdays. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sunday.
Almost 90.
It is 7 o'clock, it's 72, partly cloudy. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, being led in this direction by Paul Dunkelbart. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our second regular meeting of the Village of Ballston Spa Board of Trustees. Can I get a motion, or for the month of August, I should say, can I get a motion that the minutes of the August 11, 2025 meeting be approved?
I'll make the
Trustee
motion.
Fandesa.
Second.
Trustee Price Bush, discussion.
So I sent an email earlier today describing one issue I had with the minutes. I don't know if there's been any conversation or evolution in the minutes since then. I haven't seen anything in return. But my one objection is, it says in the minutes, John Cromie of 132 Bass Street shared his thoughts on ethics and zoning. And that really does not reflect the content of his comments, which specifically asked about the question of the mayor's recusal or potential recusal or need to recuse and whether the mayor is able to take part in discussions and vote on the zoning code because the local law apply to the village in general, or is he prohibited from participating in some or all because of its distinct zoning district that relates exclusively to his immediate family and family's financial interests. So that is the content of his comment. If you look in the minutes before and after Mr. Cromie's comment, it's much more specific about what people say. When it comes to his comment, there's no indication this is about the mayor. It reminds me of when Martha Iacolucci complained about the mayor what she described as bullying by the mayor against her daughter on Facebook, social media. And in the minutes, it said that the complaint was about bullying on social media, as if it was an anonymous source and not referring to the mayor. When there's comments relating to the mayor or any of us, it should be reflected specifically in some way in the minutes so that people can actually understand what was said. So that's my objection, that one statement, or the lack of specificity with John Cromie's statement.
Bernadette, you made a motion, do you accept the amendment?
Well, I just want to point out, I mean, if we look at the other parts of like the discussion, I mean, it says so-and-so supports motion A or D. I mean, there's an effort to try to keep it pretty streamlined. What you could potentially say is just raised a question about recusal, and I'm willing to make that change.
Related to the mayor.
No,
What?
raised a question about
Specifically
recusal.
about the mayor.
Okay, minutes.
Why would we not say it's the mayor that's
First
that's the
off,
question?
minutes, what they really are is to reflect votes. And it does not have to get that detail. It is, again, available online. I say this every time. So I will make that change. If you don't want that, we can take that off the table.
And
then.
you're not gonna say that this is about a question about the mayor.
I offered something that wasn't.
Okay, amendment is not granted.
Unbelievable.
All in favor?
The whitewashing of the minutes is inexcusable.
Vote was called for.
I offered something you didn't want.
Inexcusable, Bernadette.
Okay, the vote has been called for. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
By the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it 3-2. As I vote aye. Okay, no presentations, public comment on agenda items only, 3 minutes per speaker. If you're on Zoom and would like to speak, this would be a good time to raise your hand on Zoom. Anybody in the room would like to speak on agenda items only? Seeing none? Seeing none? Actually, I should raise that there were walk-ons. I should always do that. I forgot. I apologize. Walk-ons included the approval of the Brookside Museum contract, was it, Jen?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Which contract was it? Brookside, right?
Yes.
And
No, the
Bottom Museum. Sorry, Ellie. Bottom Museum contract. Also, we have a police vehicle for financing, but we're going to make that contingent on verifying that it was state contract pricing. So if we prove it, we'll still have to be qualified as state contract pricing. We're going to do the same thing with the new DPW vehicle also, because for some reason the new version of the pricing didn't include the state contract on it. And I just talked to Angino to verify that they can send that over tomorrow as long as they have all the information. So again, we'll do that contingent as well. I believe, am I missing anything else on walk-ons?
The one that was attached was the village authorizing to expend 8924.
The website change because our current website, Civic Plus, is not going to be doing that product anymore that we currently use, and so it will be a new website for about $9,000 a year at first, and then $5,000 a year after that, give or take. Was it?
Yes.
So those are the walk-ons tonight. Sorry about that. Now, anybody want to give comment? Is that
Question?
okay? It's not really a question period; it's comments, but
Comment. Just a clarification. On the police vehicles, how many have we replaced? What is the status? Are there any more to replace? It seems like we are buying a lot. And I would think by now, with 2 officers on it each time, we don't need a lot of police vehicles. It may be just my impression, but I'd like to know, what's sort of the status of our inventory of police vehicles?
well, we have a chief's vehicle that was one of the 2 recent ones replaced, and Chief Bush had a really good air conditioning system, also known as the floorboard of his vehicle. So that was a necessity to get that finally changed out. This one was in the budget actually, and was already basically approved at least as an expenditure. Now we just have to approve the procurement itself of it. I think it's a total in 3 or 4 years of 4 vehicles for police, I think it would be at this point. So they get a good wear and tear because they're constantly on the road with them. And I don't think that's anything out of the ordinary, especially when one of them is the chief's vehicle. So, okay, anybody else? I see no hands up there, I see no hands in here, so we have no consent agenda. Can I get a motion that the DPW be authorized to purchase a 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 for the amount of $58,190 from Angino Chevrolet. This replaces a former approval for a similar truck no longer available at the prior pricing of $56,357.93. Hold that thought, everybody. Hold that thought, because I need to amend this with what is Friday's date? The 22nd? Yeah, there is. This would also approve the financing of this truck for a 5-year period at a rate of 7.221%, and would approve the mayor to execute the related paperwork for the purchase and financing. This is contingent on qualification that this is a state contract price. Trustee Fandesa.
Second.
Trustee Raymond, discussion.
And 7%, that's the best we can do.
This is actually the lowest rate I've seen come through Mangino's in a little bit. Some 2.21. I think we were around 8 recently on a vehicle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that the Saratoga County Fairgrounds be granted permission to conduct a Harvest Havoc truck tractor pull on 10/5/25 from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. with the truck and tractor pulls to be completed by approximately 8 p.m. Permit to be issued upon proof of insurance.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Price Bush.
I'll second.
Trustee Fandesa. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that the library be authorized to expend the amount of $1,600 to Butler Roland Mays for Phase 2 color rendering.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Fandesa, Trustee Baskin, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion approving the attached application approach related to the New York State Department of Library Development funding discussed in the letter, including the potential capital expenditure for matching funds purposes by the Village of Ballston Spa from the general fund balance.
I'll make the
I'll
motion.
second.
Trustee Price Bush, Trustee Baskin, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that the VSBPA be authorized to conduct the 23rd annual The Way We Work Car Show on October 12th, 2025, with a rain date of October 19th, 2025, and to close the streets listed on the attached application.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Fandesa.
Second.
I'll give it to Trustee Raymond. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that the attached asset vehicle and equipment list be declared as surplus equipment? This motion further authorizes the mayor to execute paperwork necessary to place these items for sale via Auctions International.
Make the motion.
Trustee Fandesa.
I'll second.
Trustee Price Bush. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion approving the attached municipal vehicle lease agreement between Real Lease and the Village of Ballston Spa for the previously, I strike that actually because it was approved only in budget only, so for the purchase of a 2025 Dodge Durango police vehicle, approving payment option 1, payments in advance, and authorizing the mayor to execute the necessary paperwork, including the agreement, if contingent on verification of state contract pricing.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Fandesa,
I'll second.
Trustee Price Bush, discussion.
So you're saying we've purchased 3 or 4 vehicles in the last 2 or 3 years?
In 3 years, this would be the 4th vehicle, I think I just said.
And we only have 2 fleets on at a time. What's the chief? All right, so we should be done buying vehicles for quite some time,
I can't predict how vehicles.
barring an accident.
Yeah, I mean, things happen there, but I have not seen a huge expenditure of trucks and equipment in my time as mayor. It's like Chief Bush was nervous to even ask me for a new chief's vehicle, even with the condition it was in. So it's not like he's trying to waste our money in this whole thing.
And this is in the budget already.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's announcements. Excuse me. Yep,
And
the
website.
website. That is Jennifer's, right? Yep. Can I get a motion think. There it is. That the village be authorized to expend $8,924.69 plus you over the next 2 years to migrate our webpage platform from the Drupal 7 platform that we're currently using for our website, which will experience end of life starting in November 2025. We will be migrating to the Civic Plus proprietary website solution, Municipal Website Central. Will be a charge of $5,436.38 for yearly upkeep starting in year 3. This motion approves the mayor to execute any necessary paperwork related thereto.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Baskin, trustee Fandesa,
Will this,
discussion.
sorry, okay, sorry. Will this improve our functionality, or is it just?
Jennifer?
It will get probably better in regards to it's going to be a little bit more updated. But if you're having issues with the website, you should let me know.
Yeah, well, this website is notoriously difficult to find things, so
I'm sorry, I
hopefully.
didn't hear you.
This website is notoriously difficult to find things. Lots of people have trouble, so hopefully that'll get better.
Is this just a migration to a different platform, or is it gonna be a whole redesign?
It's not a full redesign. It'll be similar to what we have now.
Okay.
And these prices are similar to competitors, or this is a very common company for municipalities?
Yes, that's what they do.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, and, just kidding.
Listen, we can't forget Ali.
Can I get a motion approving the contract between, or agreement, excuse me, between the Village of Ballston Spa and the National Bottle Museum, and approving that the mayor execute that agreement? Trustee
I'll
Fandesa,
second.
trustee Price Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great organization.
Now there's announcements. Family Fun Day. I mean,
You have one more.
I have one more? Which one's that?
The truck,
It's part of.
no, the third one, website bottle, those are my two, we'll do them.
I thought that was it.
No, he was saying that he would just make an adjustment on the motions for vehicles that it meets state pricing. That
And I
was-
did that. on both
Yes,
those.
we did do that.
Yep. Gosh,
But thank you for checking.
I'm losing my
That was
mind. I
good.
had enough, okay? Family Fun Day, as I was saying, it was phenomenal. Thank you to our Mayor's Events Task Force, to all of the folks that gave time, money, resources. I do want to call out one person or group of persons, somebody that's not actually part of our task force, but always shows up without fail, and I just want to thank them by name. Liz Biddle and Chris Biddle and Caleb and Delilah, their children, are just absolutely wonderful volunteers that don't actually necessarily always, formally volunteer, but they just show up and roll up their sleeves and do stuff for us all the time. And that to me is the epitome of our village. I didn't know Liz very much before I was mayor, and getting to know that family. That's the family right there to me, the way that they act and react in our community and love our community. That we love you guys for doing that, and that to me is watching you guys go knee deep with Jennifer in cotton candy, and then Rebecca's family and Chief Bush going arms deep in it too. It was absolutely fascinating and amazing, and I'm so thrilled to be able to call you folks friends and fellow residents here. So thank you for that.
Let it be known, Chris fixed the button issue too.
Yes, he did.
So,
Fixed it.
both of them, yeah.
Thank you. That's just one piece of that type of day that you look at and you remember for a long time to come. The fireworks were awesome, and I remember Gina actually said to me, I thought there was going to be more of a crowd up here for the fireworks. Well, what we didn't necessarily factor in is that even Spencer Tacey told me that he was watching them from far over on Saratoga Avenue, and others were hearing them all the way up in the Galway area, from what I understand. So it was definitely noticed, seen. People were outside their houses watching them, and I've had nothing but phenomenal feedback on those from a much bigger group than was even inside the fairgrounds for them. I mean, the best place to watch them was in the fairgrounds. Let's not kid ourselves. So next year, come on up, guys. But it was still a great night. The refrigerators rocked the house as always, and just a much better venue for that. I was talking with Kim Anderson, who's got her protest coming up on Saturday, about the idea of, we maybe sometimes close or inhibit the accessibility of Front Street or Milton Ave a little too much. Sometimes I get concerned. I think we basically solved kind of a dual problem. Closing Front Street again, we didn't have to this time because it was up there. And also, there's a kind of a limitless space thing going on up there that will allow us, if we need to expand it, we can. That's the nice thing about it, with the kitchen that they have and everything else. So thanks to Jen Flinton and the folks at the
Their team was
fairgrounds.
awesome.
Yep.
They were so helpful.
They've been nothing but great partners for us during Fair Week and then after Fair Week as well. So thank you to everybody for that. As the summer concludes here, we're rolling up our sleeves, getting a lot of things done. Sean's going to tell us, I think, if he's got the list of the paving coming up here. We've been, trying to focus on our parks, getting those cleaned up a little bit, making sure the trees we planted are going to survive. We're waiting on the lighting fixtures inside Wiswell Park. There's a lot going on right now, and the summer was a great time to kind of take a deep breath to a certain degree, but we're going to be moving fast over the next months here, and glad that we were able to enjoy ourselves a little bit on that Sunday. That's it for me. While I dig out the treasurer's report, when I do a liaison report, in the meantime, burn it out.
Just briefly, the Business Association, as you saw on the agenda, they're planning for the car show, which is always a huge and really welcomed event in our village. Save the date, October, Columbus Day weekend. Let's hope for good weather. I know they always need volunteers, so if you like being outside or just really like cars, I would reach out to info@ballston.org. Also, since Peach Fest was such a hit as far as it was packed, like both Liz's and Ellie, we were there, it was hugely attended. The farmers market is planning a fall festival for October 4th, so hoping to kind of celebrate what's best about produce in this time of year, and there'll be music and other stuff. So keep your eyes out for that, and that's all I got for tonight. So
Mary, I'll let you continue. I didn't bring it up purposely, but I know you're going to talk about the library and their grand opening on Saturday, which is great.
Yes, speaking of the library, yes, it was. A huge shout out to everybody who helped make that a success. The library staff, the library board, the community, the Friends of the Library. They raised money, they got it done. The Alfred Z. Solomon Foundation, Senator Jim Tedesco, Mary Beth Walsh, they were all there, plus the community. They made it a fantastic day. The chalice is there on display. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Family Fun Day, it was a huge success. It was. And again, the community was a huge part in that and making it successful. Thank you for fixing the button machines. We ran out of supplies. And tomorrow is countywide Narcan training. It's going to be held countywide, but also the Ballston Spa Police Department will be holding a training. Sessions go from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They encourage everyone to stop in and get trained. You don't have to stop in at any particular time. You can stop in, and Officer Ackley is going to be administering the classes and showing you how to administer the Narcan. So if you have a chance, stop in tomorrow.
it's really easy. People should do it.
So I saw a YouTube video or a Twitter video or something recently where a police officer, there was no disclosure, fentanyl was on them, and they came in contact with it, and the partner had to, luckily the first officer recognized that she was about to go into that shock, and the other officer ran, found the Narcan, gave a double dose to her, and probably saved her in that situation. It is not just for people that are quote unquote junkies in that situation, but it is for people that actually come into contact with it accidentally as much as anything out there.
Well, even so, there are people that might take some drugs
Absolutely.
recreational, but everything is laced with a lot of opioids.
Yeah.
And they're becoming more and more potent, so they're like a tiny amount could really do some damage for people. So, and there are people that are trying to get better. So you know, they can't get better if they're not.
And I raised
Not
that
surviving
only to
those things.
say, basically, some people don't want to ever get trained because that's what the perception of it is, and you never know when it's going to be somebody that you know that needs it and get trained on it and have a pack. You're not going to do harm to somebody administering Narcan. That's the good news about it, and
Laws protect you as well.
absolutely, yep. Why don't we just continue with liaisons, and I'll go back to Treasurer's report. Go ahead, Ben.
Committee on Arts is looking for another committee member, so if anyone's interested, you can contact me for information, or Ashley Bush, or the mayor directly. They're a great group, they do a lot of great things. One thing that's going on now is called the Sounds of Summer. The Jazz Ambassadors, they got rained out last Sunday, but their rain date is this Sunday, August 31st at 5 p.m. at Brookside. It's free, it's outdoors, it's very good music. Bring chairs, it's out in front of the porch, and any sun protection. And then there's still the sketch and print. They had their first class August 24th, but they have 3 classes. Next one's the 31st, and then September 7th, and you're welcome to join even now. You would sign up at the Brookside website, and there is a cost involved. You can be any skill level, and supplies are provided. And the next meeting is August 27th at 7 p.m. at Brookside, so this Wednesday. Park and Tree Board, they are continue to work on Kelly and Iron Spring Park planning. They're going to announce the winners of the Ballston Bloom contest soon. They're in the process of judging. Their next meeting is September 16th. They are, I guess, still waiting on, I guess, response to questions about signage for the parks. Just a green light, I guess, from Carla for the language there. So September 16th, 7 p.m. at Cornell Cooperative Extension.
If I may, can I get a motion accepting the resignation of Emily Bartel from the Ballston Spa Committee on the Arts effective August 12th with regrets?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee
I'll
Baskin,
second.
trustee Fandesa, discussion.
Emily did a great job, and we just want to thank her for everything she did.
Apologize for not having this actually on the agenda itself. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Sean.
So, as the mayor said, we do have a list of paving projects for this year. The first one starts next week. Tomorrow, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started talking to him about it last week, so that's why it's still in my brain.
This year's-
Starts tomorrow, it goes through Thursday. West High Street, that's gonna be a mill and repave. And I would imagine a lot of these are gonna be a similar thing. Rowland Street, Cary Court, Franklin Street from Jefferson to Lexington Street, South Street, East Grove Street, Chesterwood Court, Washington Street, and Low Street.
We may add Adams Circle there. I know Scott and I were talking earlier, see, since it is connected up there to some of the stuff that we're doing, if it's not too bad to do it price-wise. Also, there was some talk about the storm catch basins having some issues up there, so.
I mean, it makes sense to replace any of the bad ones before.
So I think he was waiting to get pricing back. So stay tuned. We may add that to this one.
So, okay, and he's hopefully done by the end of September. I think that might be optimistic, but anyway.
Never know with the weather.
And then other work, the prepping we've talked about. He's got 3 water valve boxes he's fixing on West High. Installed crosswalk signs on Ross Street near the pool. Earth Care did their tree work on Milton Ave. I think it came out pretty good overall. And removed brush at 5 intersections to provide better sight distance. And patched and teared the truck bay in the garage, and lo and behold, it's not leaking so far, fingers crossed. And getting a list together for surplus items. I know recently they had one of the small pickups had a transmission failure, and due to its age and its miles, it seems hardly worth making the investment in fixing it and repairing it. So I think that's gonna be surplus. Obviously involved with Family Fun Day and still working on EPA mandates regarding water services and doing the watering of trees along Milton Ave and Wiswell Park because of the unusually dry conditions. And water samples, meter closings and replacements. That's all I have.
That's all you have, and that's all.
Sounds like a news alert.
So Sean, I just wanted to ask you, when you're ready.
Yeah.
So do they water on occasion? The plants, or is that special?
I think they were watering the trees just because it's been so incredibly dry. I know that there's volunteers, you have a volunteer organization.
We actually have
that does
Janelle we have some we're paying for water too.
Oh, right.
But
Okay.
that's why I was wondering, like, do they do that? That was like a one-off?
That's the first time I've heard it.
I had a
so.
question about, so there's 2 trees in the new places that we planted on Milton Ave. I don't think they're the ones in front of the church, but they're by the houses. They look a little crispy.
Yep.
Are they alive or?
We're working on it.
Okay.
Janelle, we weren't aware, wasn't gonna be around, and it was during that dry period, and so they went and tried to do kind of a rescue 911 approach on those.
Okay.
Whether or not it's gonna work, we will find out, but we are trying, and we've gotten plenty of people that have flagged this to us.
Yeah, the month of August has only had 9/10 of an inch of rain. It usually has 3.
Yeah.
So.
Although it's cooled down, that's the funny thing about this,
Yeah.
even without the rain. Okay, treasurer's report, still getting a lot of utility payments. Please get your payments in. Officially, we can't do September, no, it is September 2nd, that Tuesday. So Sunday would have been the last day of the month. Can't do that. Monday is a holiday, so it goes to Tuesday, September 2nd. Close the business to avoid any late fees or penalties. Sales tax distribution, I think there's a typo in here. I think it was supposed to be lower for August sales tax receipts for the county by about 5.81%, which I think includes June numbers from last year. So it's interesting to see that there may be a little fade in the Belmont and Saratoga week, but I'll tell you I'm interested to see the August numbers from this year based on seem to have a good traverse period and everything else this year. So we'll see how that works on the other end of it. We are going to get $127,393 from the payment. Preliminary revenues, year-to-date revenues on this statement of revenues and expenditures in the general fund are $2.748 million. And she lists out, as Melissa, our treasurer, major revenues recorded in August. So you can see those on the treasurer's report in the attachments. We have some old business, I should say, excuse me, I should say no new business, but we have some old business translation services. Take it away, Ben.
All right, thank you. I did some research on language interpretation services for, could be first responders, could be any village office staff that may be in need of interpretation services in the field or in the office. And there's a couple of different options. One option that a lot of municipalities and state agencies utilize is there's a central contract that Office of Language Access, New York State Office of Language Access provides that we can tap into. We complete a form that allows us to become an authorized user, and then we can ask for bids from their list of approved bidders, and they have not to exceed prices, which I've been told is usually less than what they list. And then we can have one of those open-ended purchase orders for when we need it.
Just to be clear, is there any like upfront costs at all, or is it just pay as you go?
Yeah, just pay as you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it seems there are services not through the state, like there's an AT&T language line that has a monthly fee. There's other things that have monthly fees, but this seems to be affordable. I called the city of Saratoga Springs and the Saratoga County Police Department, sheriffs, and they use this contract, and they use one of the contractors called Language Line Solutions. They have an app. The New York State Department of Health also uses this service, So that could be one solution. And the, you know, I think it would be worth, for example, if we want to pursue this, you know, there's some paperwork involved for your staff to help with, and also we could have, like, Police Chief Bush could contact Saratoga County and see the ins and outs of how it works. When I talk to them, they don't use it a whole lot at this point, but it's only going to increase, I'm sure, and it's a great resource to have when we need it. There's also apps. And not all apps are created equal. Some are sort of general apps like Google Translate. And from the research I did, we need to be careful of those because there's privacy issues. And also, there's this case that came up where a judge would not allow the Google app to be used as adequate interpretation service to allow for a vehicle search. There's too much room for error or mistranslation, so there's limitations to general apps. But there are apps that police departments use, something called Pocket Talk Plus. I put this in an email that I sent you guys last weekend. Boost Lingo, Convey 911, Propio One. The police department here, or the county, uses Prepared Live app, but that's really for dispatch. And again, it would take a little more research, which I can do if we want to move forward on each of these apps and how they're used. I have a feeling, or a lot of the state contracted bidders also have apps. So for like Language Line Solution has an app. The advantage of an app is it's a more efficient interface than, you know, dialing a number, and it also tracks usage and things like that. So some apps can track the conversation. Again, some are HIPAA compliant and others are not. So, so there are options out there. I think that it is feasible, and I would recommend we continue to pursue the state contract as a viable option and see how that works.
Yeah, I think the state probably is the right way to go because you're paying per minute for translation services, and arguably our need is probably very low. I'm guessing those app services probably have like a membership
Some of them
fee
do,
kind of.
yes. They
So
vary,
I think
yeah.
it would be cheaper maybe in the long
Yeah,
run.
and I actually asked the state, like, we may only use this like once or twice a quarter. Is it even worth, would anyone bid on this even? And they said, yes, that, you know, it's a 2-year contract and nobody knows exactly how much you're gonna use it.
Yeah.
It could be one interaction that's an hour long or whatever, you know, who knows? So, so they are fine with low usage people, and it sounds like the county doesn't use it a whole lot, but they have it in place.
Yeah.
So how do you want to proceed is my question.
I guess what I would suggest or recommend is that I sent you 3 attachments. There is, one of the attachments is the request to become an authorized user. So I suggest, and I filled in some of these things. I started to fill them, and but it's not hard to complete and to send in. So it'd be like completing the form, and you would sign it, Mayor Rossi, and then
Well, I would have to have an approval to be able to sign it.
We
Don't forget.
might already be an authorized user. That was actually, I'll have to dig up that email, but that was one of my questions, so.
they didn't mention that when I
Did you ask
contacted
that?
them.
Okay.
You would think they would tell me if we were, but
Maybe
so
not
I would
search.
guess we're not. What?
Well,
He may not have searched though too.
Well, becoming an authorized user doesn't commit us to anything. You could probably just do that, I would think. And then when it comes to signing the contract,
because it's like authorized user for any of the sort of contracting.
for any of the, just that
mechanisms
one
that they have.
contract, just that Office of Language Access.
Oh, this is
It's just
different
that
than?
one, it's an authorized user for that contract. I don't think it's,
Specifically that contract, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, do we want to do an off-the-cuff motion now to start this paperwork, or?
You want
I'm
to give
fine with
it a
that.
try at it? Go
Oh, gosh.
I'll make a motion.
Why don't you go ahead and
Make a motion to complete and submit the form to make the Village of Ballston Spa an authorized user for for interpretation services with the New York State Office of Language Access.
Why don't you all three?
Do you want attachment 11 to be filled out too, though, and the other attachment that was there?
The request for
Solicitation?
right, so the steps are, we could do that now. Step 1's complete, become an authorized user. Step 2 is the complete and request for quotes. So all those things, I guess I feel like, I thought maybe they'd just be administrative things and we're not committing to anything until we actually do a purchase order. But I guess if we want to go down that road, we might as well make a motion to do all of
Would
it.
you like to handle it, Madam Legal?
Are you looking to just apply and use OGS on this?
Yeah, I mean, they're involved because it's their contract that we're tapping into. But we do have to become authorized users, and we ask for quotes from specific vendors, and then our purchase
no.
order is with those vendors.
I know how an RFQ works, I'm just like, for the state, but I wanted to make sure that I think you should just do your motion to apply for authorization to participate in the New York State Contract Extension Program through the Office of General Procurement Services. Get that done.
Can I get a motion stating that exact thing?
All right, motion to apply to become an authorized.
Just say you'll make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Just to
That's
get
fine.
you out of the
Yeah,
alert for
what
that
she
one.
What she said.
This will be a 90-second offer for anybody that wants to speak up to 90 seconds on it.
So we're not gonna go through the next steps in terms of motions for those other things, requests for
Well,
quotes or whatever.
I think what
just
you do is you get yourself as an authorized person, and in the meantime, you can check with OGS to see if we actually already are authorized somewhat, somewhere, somehow in the
Okay.
state system. And then, you do have a meeting on Wednesday. If we find out that you aren't in there, maybe on Wednesday, we can add to the meeting to move forward with the rest of that.
All right, I'm pretty sure we're not in there for this contract, but, yes, let's do that.
90 seconds for everybody who wants to speak on this. Seeing none and seeing good. Kristen?
Yes, so Kristen Icolucci, 24 Chapman Street. I would just encourage you to move forward securing some sort of language translation services. We do have a lot of immigrants in our community. I think it would be good to have that available to any first responders or officers, and it would protect the village as well. So I think it would be a good thing for you to tap into the state resource. So just would encourage you to continue that. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
When Ben had brought this up before, I had questioned whether the village thought of putting anything multilingual access on the village website, and it was going to be looked into.
Jen?
Yeah, we can look into that.
And I
With
did,
the new format.
I
don't
Yeah,
believe it was
so when
offered
we
to
move
me.
over, I think you probably have a better opportunity on it.
I saw on LifeWorks, they have a choice where you can choose Spanish or English. I don't know what they used, but it seems to just transfer everything over into Spanish, which is very handy. And maybe if we need Mandarin or, something else to help
Yeah,
our
at DOT,
citizens.
there's like 13 languages that, and they actually, we have cheat sheets, if somebody writes something, that we can pick what language it is based on what it looks like. So,
I think that's separate to this motion.
Yeah, it's
because
separate,
would
but
be
it is
through- would be
important.
through
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
web developer, I think, but
It's
yes.
just
no,
another, I just wanted to
Absolutely, I think that's a
bring
good
that up
idea.
again.
Yeah. Is it the web developer or the browser?
Well, because I think it could be both. Some browsers let you have that as an option, but I think to make it consistent, we'd have to.
But it is a good
Ask the
idea to have
developer.
that, absolutely.
Back to the motion itself, all in favor?
Aye.
And just to add to that, these, you can also ask for bids to translate documents. Now, these companies do not just, live phone interpretation, but they translate documents, there's different kinds of, they could be in person, so there's different services, but the service I think we need right now from them is just over the phone, interpretation services.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
No new business. One note, we did schedule our meeting on Wednesday on the same night and in the same place as the zoning board of appeals meeting. Upon learning this last week, we flipped a coin. No, just kidding. We basically tried to identify which will probably need a larger room out of the two of them. We guessed the zoning board on this one, so the zoning board will actually be in the library on Wednesday, and I believe the next planning board meeting will also be in the library based on feedback today. Around October is when we're going to move everybody, it looks like, back into library until they have to close for remediation purposes for a few weeks. And then we'll go back here temporarily, but then back over to the library most likely. We're also still exploring possibility of a dual court and meeting area. Got to talk to Jim Dalby to see pricing and what to be able to tell you folks about the possibilities of it over around Kent Street, Saratoga Avenue area. So something to think about, but for now, library is going to be our abode after probably September for these meetings. And for zoning and for planning until the remediation.
Who do you talk to set up scheduling? Like for BOA perhaps, we're kind of squishing.
Basically, if you call up Jen and or Terry, they'll reach out to Andrea and see if the availability is there.
All right, thanks.
Okay, public comment on any issue, 3 minutes. If you're on Zoom, again, this is the time to raise your hand on Zoom. If you'd like to speak for 3 minutes, anybody in the house? I see Ellie Dillon, the countersigner of the agreement with the Ballston Museum, perhaps, or?
First off, I like to give credit where it's due. And Gina Morosi and her team of volunteers did an excellent job, and they should be commended for it. The move to the fairgrounds was perfect, and I learned that I can't be so enthusiastic between 10 and 12. I scare the children. But there is such a need for that, and I have new respect for that, so thank you for that. And now the National Bottle Museum, other hat, and I'll be there next year. And the stipend that you give us every year always goes to maintenance and preservation of the old building. And so we thank you and hope keeping this building for future posterity will continue bringing people into the village to support it. This year is probably, I was getting nervous because I have workers showing up tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. And as Jen said, we're in the gutter. It's going to go to a water drain on the roof and a gutter system for the back, so to preserve the water drainage. And so I thank you. So that's it.
Thank you, Ellie, and thank you for giving Bernadette the ability to say that I am not as smart as her when it comes to radioactive.
that made me so
I
happy.
wasn't going to bring up your failure.
Let it be known.
Why stop now?
Let it be known. All the men officials that happened to be at Family Fun Day, I brought them to Ellie's table. They'll figure out which one's the real piece of uranium
The
glass.
one that glowed is uranium glass.
Yeah.
That was a real tough one.
I could figure it out.
Okay, Ellie, we don't have to go that far.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Thank you for your contributions to Family Fun Day, for sure. Anybody else? I think I see a hand back there, Liz.
Liz Cormos, 89 High. About the meeting on Wednesday, do you have a new version of the zoning code? Based on the comments that you made prior? And I assume if you do, you've given it to the trustees. And when are you going to give it to the public? Because, it would be nice to let, as you had mentioned in the previous meeting, that you would share it with the public so that we could take a look at it and make our comments to the board and suggestions. So that's my question.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
Oh, I threw my back out the other day.
full time. Anna Stanko, 32 Kent Street. Just to follow up on the Family Fun Day stuff. It really was an amazing day, and first and foremost, I would like to shout out to former Mayor John Romano, who in 1994 came up with Family Fun Day. I have taken all of my kids there, my grandkids, well, at least one of them. It really is, it was the very first of our family events in the village, and he did say we made him proud, which meant a lot. But I would like to also talk about all the volunteers. Volunteers is my game in the whole setup. We had Spa Catholic, St. Mary's, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, the football team, the National Junior Honor Society, Ballston Spa National Bank, among all of the other people that just showed up. And when I said, Liz, I got you out for cotton candy, she wasn't very happy with me, but she did it. And so it really was very important, and I worked at the prize table for a very long time too. And just the amount of kids that were coming up there getting their school supplies, and all of the people, the thank yous, thank you, made it all worthwhile. So thanks for everybody that helped support it and came up and worked hard, and it was a long day. We were there at 8 in the morning and I got home about 10:30 that night. So it was a very long day, but very much worth it.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Gina?
Gina Morosi, 10 Old Glory Lane. To continue on with Family Fun Day. Yes, it's a fun day, but I want to read you all something that explains why we do what we do. A single mom reached out to me on Facebook and asked what was going to actually be free because it's advertised as a free event. And I told her to take it to private message because I didn't think she needed to have this conversation publicly. So I explained to her that basically everything was free, affordable food prices, we stayed in the range of $1, $2, or $3. And also informed her that if you can't afford to buy food, there are food vouchers available through Scotty's Pantry that you can use. It's called Fun Money, Family Fun Money.
Fun bucks.
Fun
Get it
bucks,
right.
sorry, they were fun bucks. And you can actually use those to purchase food. And we had 2 generous donors that earmarked their donations for just that cause. So we did a record number of vouchers, fun bucks, that day, well over $500 worth, well over.
There's a lot of food at the price end too.
It's a lot of food. And most of our food sellers did run out, so. But I just wanted to read you what she said. She thanked me for responding. I explained to her everything that was going on. She said, "Thank you so much. Money is tight right now, and this is such a huge relief. We will definitely be there tomorrow. You're an angel." And I said, I explained there's also fireworks that are free, the concert's free. Be sure to find me and I'll make sure you're all set. She said, "I will, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it." Well, I was so busy that day that I thought later that night I never got to meet her. I never heard from her. I wondered if she came. So a couple days later, I get this. "I wanted to let you know my daughter had so much fun. Someone at the event gave us the food bucks." She called them bucks, see that? "My daughter loved that she could have whatever she wanted. It made her whole weekend. I cannot thank you enough for doing this and giving us this day. It means so much." That's why we do it, right there.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing no hands, seeing one hand.
Zoom to say that, but, sure, yeah, thank you. Kristen Nicolucci, 24 Chapman Street. So on a local note, would like to understand the zoning code, if it will be available. I think Liz had asked that, but is the meeting on Wednesday, like this Wednesday? So hoping it'll be available to the public so we can see that before the meeting on Wednesday. And I think Mayor Rossi, you said that the meeting is going to be at the library for the ZBA meeting. So then this meeting would be here at Village Hall. Is that right? Okay, yes. Okay, so, and then future meetings will be moved to the library in October for the village.
We'll make sure that we denote where the meetings are, it's
Okay.
clear to everybody.
Okay, great. I wanted to also follow up on what happened at the last village meeting on the 11th. So in the last meeting, Mayor Rossi, you, Trustee Bush, Trustee Van Danes voted to pass Trustee Van Danes' resolution after all three abstained from Trustee Baskins. The text of that resolution was not in the minutes, so it's on the website. Where is it? Will it be posted on the website, and will it be sent to any state or federal contacts by the village? Just what to understand what action this board is going to take to ensure that that resolution that you did pass will be publicized. And again, the call for all humanitarian aid funding to be reinstated. So really, I think that's important and would like to understand the follow-ups there. Also, I would like to know the board's response to the Daily Gazette editorial regarding our last village meeting here. They published a comment about the board majority's abstention for the first motion. That was the motion for Trustee Baskin's resolution, and the editorial board said if you don't support it enough to vote for it, then your obligation to your constituents doesn't call on you to abstain, it calls on you to vote no. The public elects their fellow citizens to represent them and make difficult decisions. If you're not willing to make them, you shouldn't take on responsibility. So just would like to kind of understand, considering just a few days ago, the UN officially classified the humanitarian crisis in Gaza as a famine. So that of which billions, again, of our tax dollars are being used to fund purposely starving the civilian population of Gaza, which is a war crime. So do you now have any additional comments to make to, use your power as an elected official on this matter, considering those comments? So looking forward to your response. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay. Time for other business, including but not limited to board response to public comment. Sean, we'll start with you. If you got anything, you can.
I just think after hearing a couple of people talking about, the latest version of the zoning, and there's obviously an interest to see what has changed and how much has changed. I guess I wonder if it makes sense to make that public and potentially postpone our meeting until we get some feedback and input from the public to see whether or not they feel the changes and modifications are adequate to address their concerns.
Well, the meeting on Wednesday is about questions still from Chris and Carla with respect to, I've gone through with them all of our different stuff and gave feedback where possible about, where I agreed with them that there's confusion, there's not, as we had discussed. And now at this point, Carla and Chris are working together, I believe, to just delineate what's still necessary to get some answers from the board so that the next version can be actually published. I think the cart and the horse are getting interposed here. What do you think?
Yes and no.
Okay. Tell me your yes, tell me your no.
I had provided to the board last week, as I indicated, the most recent proposal. I said, don't share it yet because there are some questions there. I have heard nothing from anybody with respect to the questions. So I knew this was going to come up tonight. Chris and I are talking tomorrow, just so I can update him as to what I did when he was on vacation. But I think maybe what we do for the public just to be able to read it is remove those comments. Leave the red lines in. I will remove the comments that are questions from me to you all and legal advice. Remove those. That way the board can actually see a PDF version with the red lines, so that the board can, the public, unless you want to be the board, the public can see that. The board has the ones with the questions that I'd like, we can discuss and I'd like responses to. But I do want everyone to understand that the meeting Wednesday does not have public comment in it. That the meeting Wednesday is not a public hearing, it's not a public workshop, it is a special meeting of this board. For this board, Chris Kusha will be here, like he was last time virtually, and it'll be a discussion with Chris, myself, and the board that the public absolutely is, can come and listen to and watch and take notes on and what have you, but it's not gonna be back and forth, and the public won't be able to comment because the public will have plenty of opportunities to comment once they get the final draft that this board has created.
So I guess you're both implying at least that we may have another meeting that is subsequent to giving the draft to the public so that we have an opportunity to actually discuss public feedback, since that won't happen at this meeting.
No, that's not, no, because at this point, it's at the board. It's the board's law, and the board has to review the law, put the law together. Once the board is comfortable with the law being together, then it by law has to go to the planning board, it'll likely go to the zoning board, it'll have to go to county planning. The public can appear at all of those, and then the public has to weigh in at a public hearing.
Right.
So this wouldn't be, so that's where, right now, so it was draft the law with the public input, with the ZAC and the workshop that my associate went to and Chris went to. Took all that, now it's at this table. This table does its job as representatives to create the law. Once the law is created here, then it goes back to the public and says, this is the law that we like, now you guys talk to us about it. That's how the process works.
Yeah, but the process can work is that we could maybe in 3 weeks have another meeting and have folks email and provide comment on what we're working now, just to make sure that their concerns have been adequately addressed. To me, waiting to the public hearing to the very end, that's way too late.
Well, that's not the end, because if there's comments that come at the public hearing, then the law gets changed.
But
So
typically,
if there's, just give me 1 second, if there's a substantive change, then the law gets changed. So what you're saying is kind of having multiple public hearings, even though they're not being called public hearings. I'm trying to just kind of lay out, you can do whatever you want. You can have the board, you can have these folks talk whenever you want them to. I'm just saying you're not required to, and a lot of times it makes more sense to have the body draft the law and then follow the process. But the board is able to do what it wants.
My one thought though is, all of us saw public comment, like the written public comment, and have been at that meeting. Our notes probably reflect a lot of that, so we need to look at that next meeting Wednesday, see where it is, where you think it is, because I think it's just gonna create this kind of issue about it being done in a sort of not easy, but like orderly manner. So we have all their comments, we have all received it, those comments are also public, so they've been out there. Like, that's our responsibility at this point, kind of make sure that it's addressed where, appropriate.
Right.
That's how I'm seeing it.
And
but-
there were over, Ben, I think you and Sean, we counted, had over 100 comments
I
combined.
know.
So, they were comments that reflected all of the comments, because Chris and I went through, and I believe it's on the website, created these were the comments, this is how they were responded to, which again, not required to do. You guys have gone above and beyond to bring the public in. So I think it just makes more sense, but again, you can do what you want, to have this board review it. You talk to your folks anyway, so you're gonna hear what they have to say. But I think just if you wanna get this passed, you need to start making your milestones.
There's been significant changes since the last time the public has seen the draft, and we did tell the public that they would see the next draft, and they haven't seen the next draft. I'm interested in public response. I know it helps me to understand what's of concern to the public when I receive comments from the public. And there's new things in this draft and changes, and it'd be interesting and helpful to hear from the public what they think of those changes.
I'm not sure what the new things are. I think a lot was wiped out more than added, actually.
There's some things related to the planning board of,
Such as?
Yeah, such as what?
There's no new things for the planning board. There's been reorganization within the documents, but we haven't put anything new in there that wasn't in the original document.
are we now allowing planning board members from Saratoga County outside the village?
That was a recommendation
Yeah,
for me, because that's been,
in there.
yeah, I don't know why we had, it was inconsistent, I think, in some of the language that was in there, so when I went through the edit, I had done Saratoga County, because That's just the way boards have operated around us too.
So is that in there now?
I did not see, I have not looked, to be honest with you. I'm looking
So-
at
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
because I put, well, hang on.
So
All
that's new?
comments that everybody put, unless they were inconsistent, legally unsupportable, and a lot of your comments were questions, to which I responded within the comments, and if you guys saw, I specifically sent yours, and I'm not picking on you two, but you had, your comments were on one document, and then everybody else was
And we
separate. So I just went through your 100 comments to be able to, you asked what the law is for this, and I gave you the law, what the law is for this, and I gave you the law. Whatever you wanna do, I don't care, I just said, if you want them to see it,
Right.
that's okay, let's remove the legal advice that's in there and have them look at it, and then the
Yeah,
board can
that
do what it
won't
wants.
take very long to accomplish,
I
I
really
think.
think we need to do it first pass before we do that.
But-
I really
No,
do.
What I'm saying is, they can see it without, like with all the red
Oh, I
lines,
know,
but
I'm
without
still
the
saying I
comments.
think
Oh.
we should just meet.
See, I don't always agree with these guys, I just want
That's
to.
all right.
Well, I guess
Well,
what.
I wasn't
guess-
anything really over here.
I guess
You're saying.
I think there should be a mechanism where people can provide public input on that draft. I mean, I assume.
They can always email.
I don't consider this a draft per se, I consider this an interim, a working document for us. When we are done on Wednesday, the presumption is that we're gonna give Carla and Chris enough final information to, finalize that draft for public comment purposes, public hearing purposes, or actually planning boards first. And in the meantime, public can look in, review, and give comments on it during that period too. I think what we're doing is we're kind of convoluting, to Bernadette's point, I think is what you're getting at. You're convoluting by having 13 different versions out there. What's the right version, everything else. If we wait till Wednesday, get this done, and by the beginning of next week, we'll probably have a version at that point, give or take, right?
I would respectfully disagree.
Which part?
Because you're having an open meeting on Wednesday.
Right.
And this is a document that's going to be discussed at the open meeting and has to be available to the public, which is why I'm saying we're gonna scrub, thank you. We're gonna scrub the comments, the legal advice, and it would be out there. I mean,
So
you're
when would it be
required-
available? Like, doesn't it have to be 48 hours or something? Or?
No, the law says 24 hours beforehand, but I can do that tonight
Right.
or
It's a
tomorrow.
very-
So what is
I
this
guess-
discussion if it's required?
What-
then-
Yeah, I guess what I would suggest is that we move the meeting back to give the public, because we told them we'd show them this draft, and so obviously after Wednesday,
Who's we?
this, we did, the board, we talked about it at this board meeting.
No,
and I think you
actually,
agreed.
when we
We
just
all
go back
talked
to
about
the,
that.
for the last workshop we had, we laid out exactly where we were going with it. I was gonna sit down with Carla and Chris, going basically through, section by section essentially, to see what Chris's questions were, concerns were, thoughts on different comments, just to make sure that I understood where the issues were as well, guided based on all of our comments and everything else where there was disagreement, flagged, and made sure that it was going to be either handled by them or handled by us eventually, depending on if it was germane or not. And then, we said we would sit down again with what were the remaining issues with respect to things that Chris wants feedback on. For instance, I think he definitely, the two tables, parking table and the, table?
But
The,
we
use
did
table.
tell the public, they asked, and we told them that they would see the next draft, and they haven't seen the next draft. I guess, so what I would suggest is we either move this meeting back, or we have this meeting, create the third draft, or whatever's after that, and then publicize that to the public, and we might want another meeting, but I think it would be
Well, then
easier, I think it would be more
you're saying the same thing I am.
it'd be more straightforward to just move this meeting back to allow time for the public to see this draft, and that would be their final shot.
I think
At this.
you've got about a 3-month
Well,
period
it's not
still to
your final
come.
shot if you do it that way.
That's the whole thing. You've got 3 months still.
Why 3 months?
3 months because,
All the other boards.
Planning boards?
County.
yeah. Public hearing, we'll probably have to serve and volley a couple times on that one. So you'll end up kind of in about a 45-day to 60-day period probably in public hearing mode. And then final approval once edits are made. So that's right there, 3 months.
You
So
think
you've
public
got a
hearings get-
lot of time here. So I think your concern is that you think that we're jamming through. realistically, no, and like I said, I don't see us going through one public hearing mode and passing it, I really don't. So, I
All
think,
right, remember that.
well, but I think realistically, how often for a major law does that happen?
That's fine, you know, that could be the next meeting, and that's fine, because,
You're talking Wednesday?
no, what I'm saying is that if there's a public hearing and then potentially a second public hearing,
No.
that's what Frank just said.
I'm
Often there's two
saying,
public hearings.
follow along with what we have left to do, because I'm not trying to confuse you, I'm just trying to be honest with this, and correct me if I'm wrong here, my understanding. Assume we sit down Wednesday, finish up with the questions remaining, Chris and Carla pop out the next draft at that point for a purpose of showing public and getting it to the planning board, the zoning board discretionarily, and the county planning board. And they have at least 30 days at that point to review at those levels.
So
okay?
we wouldn't do that till we have a regular board meeting where we vote to do that.
Most likely correct, so a couple weeks from now. So, but let's just say that that's a 30-day plus period, okay? Then you're gonna have to advertise and go through with public hearing. Most likely, you're gonna have probably a couple meetings related to public hearing, if I had to guess, where we'll leave it open, have a comment period as public hearing part of it, correct? Look at the comments and say, oh, look, X, Y, and Z, those are substantive comments that are necessary to change because they're right. So it's a substantive change, let's make those changes, let's go back to one more public hearing mode at that point. Okay, just some cross your Ts, dot your Is stuff at this point, not substantive, we can vote on this
All
now.
right, so it's one public hearing to keep it open for several meetings or more than one
Yeah.
meeting.
It seems to be,
That's-
Yes, but if there are substantive changes, you have
You
to
have to reset it.
completely
Right.
reset it
That's-
and completely
that makes
start
sense.
a separate public hearing time period.
And you have to
And that
send,
has to go back, you have to start the process
Right.
again. You have to go back to county planning with it, you have to go back to the planning board with it, you have to go back to.
right,
zoning.
that's why I'm saying maybe we don't start that whole process until we have something closer to the final product that the public is able to
which is what
provide
we've
feedback
been
on
saying.
before we do the public hearing.
It sounds like the more public buy-in we have, the better, before we get to that juncture.
So we
Well, I
don't-
think first, I
we
think we
gotta
need
sort
to
out our
understand it.
stuff,
Yeah, I think we've got to get our own consensus here to feel like we've got a document that we're confident with, and then let it go through the test that has to go through, because I don't know if we're there yet. The use table needs some
Right.
real looking at.
But
right
what
now.
would help us feel confident is hearing from the public, because they're gonna catch things we may not have seen, there are changes, they'll give us their opinions on some of those changes.
They're going to, that's the whole thing, they're going to have it
Before
for
the
3
public
months.
hearing.
They're going to for 3, well, they can look at it during county planning and planning board and zoning board looking at it. We will accept comments during that period for that.
And if we change things, we have to go back to those boards?
Well, I don't think what you'll do is you'll keep a list of things you're changing in the meantime anyway, go through public hearing, just to go through it and see what else you're gonna find. Make sure you're comprehensive on all the things you need to change. Just because during that 1 month period, we find out, oh, there's 3 or 4 things we're gonna have to change, don't make that change then. Put it through public hearing, state that this is the first public hearing, most likely of 2, because we already know some substantive changes we're gonna have to make, but we'd like to still finish this round of what we have to do procedurally, then go back, make the changes.
But then we have to go back to all the counties or the
Yeah,
boards.
You're gonna have to anyway.
We're avoiding one meeting and potentially creating another 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we front end the public input, then we don't have to do all the
Look,
recycling.
not
to
for
the
nothing,
county.
I'm trying to make sure you two get a chance to vote on this.
Right.
Because
No, I
it's
appreciate that.
August 25th, September 1st, basically marks, 4 months before the end of the year. And so I'm trying to make sure that we're at least compacting the front end of this a little bit so that you guys get a chance to vote on this, because I would assume you want this to be part of your legacy at the end of the day.
Yeah, so even if we publish, yes, so thank you,
And-
thank you.
and- yeah.
So even if we publish this tomorrow, say, and move the meeting back by a week, that would help with what our concerns are.
We discussed this last time. We
Well, we
said
thought
this.
the version would be available prior
You
to
thought,
this.
not
It
everybody
was
thought.
available, I said I'd give it to you before I brought my son back, and I gave it to you before I brought my son back.
We thought it would be here the Friday before that, and we'd have 2 weekends to look at it. We got it Wednesday night, so we have 1 weekend, so that's hard on us. But the public hasn't seen it at all, and we did say that they would have the opportunity. and they haven't, and so that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
but for instance, our use table, I'm telling you, there are issues with the use table. There's no doubt about that. And that, we're gonna get is feedback from the public saying, there's issues with your use table. We know there are right now.
Yeah,
So
but
let's go fix it right now.
I'd like to hear specifically their opinion of the use table issues.
Right, but we don't even
would
have a
inform us.
consistent form. We had back and forth, different things going on in the use table in our different comments. That was one of the, I think, the actively problematic sources, and the general questions in the parking code as well, the parking table at that point. Let's get those ironed out, at least as a board, so that, okay, if they have problems still with certain uses, at least it's one or two things, not the entire damn thing.
No, yes, I guess my concern is, given how time-consuming the back end of this, the end of this is, with going to all the boards and doing the public hearing, and then if you
It's
have
just
to change
unavoidable,
it,
but
you
okay.
redo it again. Well, that's what I'm wondering, is can we avoid that duplicity,
not
duplication,
gonna
not
avoid a second
duplicity, but
round.
duplication.
I get where you're going.
At the
You're not gonna
back
avoid,
end,
you're not gonna avoid two
to do,
rounds.
by doing more up here.
Read my lips on this one, you're not gonna avoid 2 rounds, you're just not. And yet, like I'm saying, I'm trying to do this in a way that at least you're gonna get a chance to vote on this before you're done.
So 2 rounds, meaning 2 rounds with the county and the planning board?
And a public hearing, yes, so those are.
Why do you think we have to if we can't do it up front?
Because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't even gonna be able to invest the time or the energy to read this probably until, this is not something that you're gonna read in 5 minutes.
No.
Or appreciate it, or, word of mouth about this is an issue that we need to tell the board to fix. It's just not gonna come instantly. So the whole thing here is, give them that first period where the boards are reading it, the planning boards and zoning board are reading it, to begin to look at it. Use a public hearing still, regardless if you've identified substantive issues, still use a public hearing to hear from the public and hope and feel that you've got a much better document at that point, that you don't need to substantively change any further.
You're just saying we probably will need to do that and have a
Right,
second
you're gonna
meeting.
have 1 round, I'm saying, where it's gonna have to happen. It's the second round,
Right.
during the second
Yeah,
round.
we don't
you
want
wanna-
more than 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think you're capable of doing that in the way that we're laying out. If you go 3, you're not gonna vote on this. I'm just gonna be
I
flat
don't-
out honest with you.
I'm surprised we're going 2. And Carla, I think, is a little alarmed we're going 2 potentially also.
I'm not alarmed at anything, I'm just working.
What do you mean by 2 you think is alarming?
2 public hearings. and
Why is
2
that bad?
I've been in
It's
cases
just
where
like-
they've done it with solar laws in municipalities, we've had to stop and start
Mm-hmm.
like 3 times with solar laws. This is not unusual.
Well, like you just said, then we'd have to go back to the counties and the other boards.
I think you
That's
better
pretty
plan on
standard.
a second round no matter what. I'm telling you right now, there's no way that this is gonna be so writing for prime time, no matter what we do in this next 1 to 2 week period, that you're gonna avoid that second round. Okay, there's just no way. So let's get this moving so that by December 31st, for your sakes, we can get you allowed to vote on this whole thing. I think it's appropriate.
I have sent Jen, hi, I just scrubbed the comments off, I sent it to Jen. Jen will, if it's okay, if she can,
The note should be that this is what the board will be discussing for their own review at Wednesday's meeting, is that we should be giving us the prompt on it so that we begin to track versions too.
sure, I mean, yeah, I mean, this
I
is
think that
the-
just to guide them and
I
say, this is
have
what
it
we're gonna be doing with this.
as the draft dated 8/25/25.
Okay, that helps too.
So,
Anna, as a zoning board chair, since we brought up her board multiple times, you wanted to say?
I just wanted to say that I think in this case, we've come so far, we really need to wait to hand this back to the public until after the county has looked at it. Let's let the professionals look at it, tweak it, find any mistakes we've made, and go from there. Just showing it back to the public at this time is just, for all these comments, when, let's be honest, everybody in the public doesn't understand. When you say we're changing this to 25 foot, they're like, oh, we're gonna have 16 lots on a small lot on Hyde Boulevard. It has nothing to do with that at all, but I've heard that comment so many times. I really think it's important to let the county have a stab at this before we're throwing it back out there for the public to make comments
Well, they'll get a chance to
The
still
county-
see it during that
Oh, I
period.
get it, I'm just saying.
And I actually spoke with Jeff Williams, and he doesn't want to see it until this board is comfortable that it's the final one.
Okay, but I'm just saying before, and then they're gonna take a couple of months anyways.
They
We'll
shouldn't.
see, we'll see. They might, they have the right to do, but yeah, I did reach out to Jeff to see how the county wanted to do it, and they said once the village board is ready to send it to the public for the actual final public hearing, that's
Then
when
the
the
county
county
wants
wants
to
it,
do it.
after the planning board has looked at it and I guess the zoning board has looked at it.
And before the public hearing.
Correct.
Yeah, and they're
Well,
not,
because you can't pass it without
Right,
county
right.
approval.
but wouldn't you say that the county is not gonna dig into the details the way we in the public would dig into the details? They
They
just,
just have their plan.
basically, they wanna know that it's compatible with state and
Well, I
county
think
law.
Jason
and-
Kemper's gonna go through it.
Jason's gonna
What?
review it.
Yeah.
Jason Kemper's gonna go through
He's
it with
gonna
a
have to
fine tooth
review
comb.
it.
He's
Yeah,
very,
absolutely.
very detail oriented. I would give him that credit all day, every day.
It's not like a application where, this is a law. It's not like, we're doing, I don't know, a simple
Yeah, but
subdivision,
again,
there's no
his-
county impacts, but.
Their tack is gonna be compliance with state and county zoning. It isn't gonna be, oh, is this
Right.
what
I
the
feel like
village
Jason, I
wants
hear what you're saying. I know
to represent
Jason's
the character
pretty,
of their village?
Jason, since he's been involved, it seems like he is looking very holistically at how the county, including our municipalities, approach their own zoning, so that there's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, harmony, and also he
Especially in a
has,
village with the towns basically as the dual overlaps, I think that they take a particular look at that. And also it is the county seat still for them, no matter what, the future may or may not hold. It is a county seat, so I think they're gonna take particular interest in looking at this.
Yeah, they'll look at it, but they're not gonna step on home rule either. If we give them something, we say, this is what,
Recommend-
either way, they're gonna look at it, guys. So,
Recommending
like,
is not
I don't know
stepping
what
on
we're
home
fighting
rule.
about.
They're not demanding, they're recommending, usually in these things. They will flag major issues, but they're gonna make recommendations all throughout their document that they give back to us on this. That's up to us on recommendations, whether or not we want to accept those.
all right, so,
Yes, we can move forward.
hopefully this will get, posted, first thing tomorrow morning, which will give people, 2 days to.
Right, but
Again,
there will not
it's
be
for
public
you.
comments on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, it's just.
This is
workshops
us
for
on Wednesday.
Right.
This is our
We don't want public
last.
comments at this time.
Not, we're gonna
Because
have,
we have to sort our own
Yeah.
stuff where we
we
disagree.
have months coming up of public comment coming up. There's no doubt about that. So let's get it to that position. We need to get it in so that we can take the next steps and get the public what they need.
Can we put, for example, on an agenda item on the next meeting,
Next regular
regular
meeting,
meeting, we can have a public comment on zoning at the next meeting?
They can make that in public comment number 2. I mean, it doesn't need to.
correct. And I honestly, at this point, I would suggest to people, written comment is gonna be more effective because we can incorporate by reference into the public hearing much easier, the written comments that we receive prior to that date, we can make a decision to incorporate those by reference into the record for the public hearing. So I would say written comments until we get to actual public hearing mode is gonna be the most effective way to handle that. Yes, no?
It's easier for me to take something that's written down than.
So, we're not gonna stop somebody from making a 3-minute comment, but at the same time, I think it has more duration
Yeah, no, that
when
makes
it's written.
sense. That's fine. And, the timing issue is one reason, I was hoping we could deal with the ADU, or as much as possible now, for instance. The ADU section is written, and I still don't understand why we wouldn't just do it. It's desired.
writing on the calendar.
And, given the timing,
Do you want to reiterate why?
yeah, I would.
Because it's
Because Frank said it's
Bernadette,
7
could you-
meetings. He
it's a
said 7
gateway to
meetings.
No,
short-term
Bernadette, can-
rentals and.
Wait, Bernadette, can
No,
you give us?
I asked
okay,
him.
okay.
He's
I'm
reiterated
sure
this
you
every time
understand
he
too.
brought this up. Is there's regulations that the state imposed on the county. The county is sorting it out. This has been said every time this has been brought up.
Regulations on what?
Short-term rentals.
Right, short-term, not ADUs. So it's two
But
different things.
ADUs are.
Go hand in hand with
Yes.
that.
They
So,
don't have to.
listen,
They don't.
we'll deal with it when we get it all together, what the county's gonna have to be working
Yeah,
with.
an EDU is not necessarily a short-term rental.
All right,
I
well,
mean, short-term rentals.
let's move
you're
forward. We have a
paying it.
meeting Wednesday for what we have in hand now. Let's just move forward, guys.
Okay, anything additional for other business?
No, I guess, just to finish on zoning, does it make sense to, like, we're separating PDDs and ADUs, does it make sense to separate out that last district that is your family's, just to make it clean from the other?
It's not changing currently. If
It's
you
not
decide to change it, it would be one thing. It's currently in the current state that it's in the code, so I'm not sure how. I looked at some controller opinions on this actually myself, some old stuff, and it can't be merely speculative. It has to be actually concrete, that there's a benefit. What's the benefit? It's staying as it is, as expected at this point.
Okay.
If you want to make changes, that's up to you guys. As I said, I have no hand in it. I said there were some comments out there about it. I denoted Liz's, for instance, said have fun with it if that's what you want to do. If you want to go R2 with it, that's on you guys. I'm
But it
out.
doesn't make sense, and Carlos, this is a question for you, to somehow separate, just to keep the issue.
You would end up with a
separate.
spot zone if you did that on the next round, because currently it's one parcel. Now Mark Katz is attempting to subdivide it to be able to buy the remainder to develop it, the last 3 buildings over there, so he's got to subdivide it. So maybe then it's not, but until he subdivides it, you would have spot zoning going on at that point, because it's one parcel. So I would tell
I don't know
you
what
that.
the timing of that is, but.
I think he's probably in the next couple of months going to be in front of one of the 2 boards, if not both. I don't know what he's doing with it, so it's up to him how he's handling that. I have no say or desire to have a say in that. So just be aware that you would be triggering possible spot zoning the way you're suggesting, and I'm saying to you, you're not going to make any changes to it. It's there, it's already there. You're just incorporating it back into the code for that parcel. That's on you.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Mary, anything? Bring it up.
Yes, very briefly.
Yes.
Regarding the resolution that Ben had put out there, I voted, to speak for myself, I abstained because there were parts I agreed with it and other parts that I disagreed with. That is also why I proposed the one that I proposed. I didn't specifically see you said it was a
Editorial.
op-ed.
I just read it, yeah.
So, but speaking for myself solely, that is why I voted the way I did. That's all.
Where's your resolution? Is it gonna be posted?
Oh, we can get that up, I think, yeah, so, Terry, I know Carla emailed it to all of us.
Yes, I neglected to put it in with the attachments, I apologize, I did say in the minutes that it was attached and I neglected to.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
It is on the website.
Okay, thanks.
The last sentences of the editorial that says, an FYI, are the public elects their fellow citizens to, quote, represent them and to make difficult decisions. If you're not willing to make them, then you shouldn't take on the responsibility. I think anybody that has watched the last 3 years of the decision-making that's occurred in this body, the 5-hour meetings, the 4-hour meetings, the disagreements, and even the attempt from time to time collegiality around here, or some, a little bit of a sense of humor, because you have to have it to be in this job. I think anybody that's sitting in an editorial board that would write those 2 sentences clearly doesn't have any idea what the hell is going on in the Village of Ballston Spa. Maybe they should actually come and see it for themselves for 5 minutes before they write blather like that. Can I get a motion that the vouchers be audited and the meeting adjourned at 8:25 p.m.?
I'll make the motion.
Second. That's Sean.
Trustee Baskin, Trustee Raymond, I'll give it to him. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you on Wednesday, actually. Have a good night.
6:30, by the way.
6:30 p.m. Thank you. 6:30.
Here.
Farmers market have
I totally, it was like in May and I was
No,
on
sorry,
May,
that's
so
right.
I actually started drafting.
Oh, yeah.
No, I like it.
I just
Actually,
got
I
dizzy
asked
because I went around.
things that were
You were-
holding on to me.
What? You don't pay attention to it everywhere.
Not everything works.
No, I don't.
So I